Okay guys, welcome back to yet another Malaysian Motoring video. Today we have a slightly different video for you. We are here in the brand spanking new showroom of DMM Perodua Mid-Valley here in Menara MBMR, where they've very kindly invited us to take a closer look at the new Perodua Bezza. Now, as I'm sure you've seen from our launch video, we were there at the launch at the Sentul depot, but there were a lot of people. It's very difficult to try and get up close and personal with the cars. So our friends here at DMM Perodua Mid-Valley have invited us to take a closer look at these cars, and we are going to be the first publication in the country to test drive the new Perodua Bezza. But first, let's go take a walk around the new cars and we'll show you what there is to see. Alright, so we're going to start our tour of the new Bezza with this, the Bezza 1.0 or 1 litre G. So this is an automatic model, which is basically the second car up from the base. But this car starts at 36,580, sorry, the prices is back there. Whereas the Bezza range starts with the 1.0 G manual, which is 34,580. Now, the way you can tell that this is the 1 litre, there's a few things that you can tell. Now, the full LED headlights that you get with the new Bezza, these are all standard, as well as this aggressive new face. Now, this apparently represents the new face of Perodua, which we first saw with the Myvi and then later with the ARUZ. So this is now being incorporated into all of its models, and now it's arrived with the Bezza. Now, being the 1 litre model, this bit of garnish on the grille is painted silver. The 1.3 models get chrome, and the 1 litre models do not get front fog lights. It's just sort of blanked in, as it were. But if we move down to the side, we can see that there are 14-inch alloy wheels, which were borrowed from the 1.3 litre Perodua Myvi. Now, it's not only the wheels that have been borrowed from the Perodua Myvi. In fact, this colour, granite grey, makes its debut here on the Bezza after having first been shown on the new Perodua Myvi. So granite grey and garnet red are the two new colours, which make a total of 6 offerings for the new Bezza. Now, moving down, further down the side, these wing mirrors are now electrically adjustable for the first time in the 1 litre models, which is great news because it means that you no longer have a little annoying stick to adjust things. Now, you also have a set of side skirts down the side which are dual tone, the top half of which is body colour and the bottom half of which are black, again just to provide a little bit more contrast. But at the rear, the changes are kind of noticeable. So you have this new boot lid garnish, which is now dual tone, just like the side skirts. You have a bit of black, but you have chrome on the top of it, again just to make it look a little bit fresher. And this rear bumper has been designed to mirror the bumper in the front, so you have these big triangular segments framed in piano black with the reflectors built in. You also have a prominent diffuser type thing going on down here. But aside from that, everything remains the same. So in terms of interior, you still have the same fabric seats, the same non-touchscreen head unit, and you have all of the features that you've come to expect from the Perodua Bezza, including the amazing 508 litres of boot space. But now, let's go take a look at the 1.3. Now, the Bezza 1.3, seen here in X, guys. So this is the introduction to the 1.3 litre range. So immediately there are a few changes that you have to note. First, you have chrome garnish here down on the grille, and you've got fog lights for, when you're driving up Genting and it's foggy. But moving down the side, this is the very familiar sugar brown colour, which I'm sure many Bezza owners or many Bezza fans are already very familiar with. Here you still have the electric door mirrors and you still have the same side skirts, but for the 1.3 models you now get keyless entry. So you can just tap on the little button and hit the start button and off you go. You never have to take the keys out of your pocket. Now, you also get this little bit of B-pillar garnish for the 1.3 models. The 1 litre models don't get that. But, and you also get chrome door handles. I believe this is limited to the 1.3 models. I suspect one of my researchers are about to tell me that I'm wrong. But, moving down the back, same changes as we saw earlier. Garnish, chrome bumper. 1.3 models also get a remote boot release, which is there's a button here and it works if you have the key, which I don't, but it does work. And of course, all models get folding rear seats as well as that 508 litres of boot space so that you have amazing practicality in your Perodua Bezza. Now, let's go and jump downstairs to take a look at the advanced model and talk to you a little bit more about the interior. Now we are with the Perodua Bezza 1.3 Advanced. Now this is the car that has all the attention. So I'm going to apologize if there's echo because it's very echoey in here. But this, like I said, is the car that has all the headlines. So for starters, this car has ASA 2.0 or Advanced Safety Assist 2.0, which basically bundles in advanced driving assist features such as autonomous emergency braking, forward collision warning, pedestrian alert, pedestrian detection, as well as forward departure alert. This system is capable of reducing the severity or even mitigating accidents altogether, particularly within city speeds below 80 kilometers an hour. But talking about the more exciting stuff first, this is the new color. So this is garnet red, the second new color available for the Bezza for 2020. Now in this color, all of the design changes really pop. So you can see the refreshed garnish, the fog light surrounds I was telling you about, the more aggressive front bumpers, and down the side, once again, you have the same side skirts. Sorry, I'm slightly lost for words. You have the same side skirts, but you also have body moldings down the side of this car. Now, if you go down to the back, it is exactly the same as all the other Bezzas we're looking at, with the same garnish, the same bumper, except here you have the sticker that says Advanced Safety Assist. But don't worry, this sticker doesn't come with a car. Don't worry about that. Now, we have the keys, which are currently in plastic. This is a test drive car, so we've got the keys in plastic. But one of the benefits of this car, if I lock it, is keyless entry. So if my cameraman can come around here, I can show him the magic of having keyless entry. So now, with the keys in this hand, I can just press a button and the car unlocks. Now, we have to move inside, so my cameraman is going to magically whiz around into a slightly better position where I can talk about this car, and that's going to happen now. Now, stepping into the new Bezza, there are a few things that I'd like to point out. First, the floor mats and the illuminated door sills in this car are not standard. Neither are the body moldings that I just pointed out. Neither is this center armrest, which is adjustable. This is very useful, particularly if you're driving. But like I said, this is all part of the gear up package, which you can pay for, and then you have extra space and so on. But like I said, this isn't standard. But let's talk about what is standard in this car before I get carried away. So the new Bezza, we knew that the new Bezza would come with revised exterior aesthetics. What we weren't expecting was an interior revamp as well. So the seats in this car are standard with the Bezza, and they actually include this little bit of Alcantara inserts on the side of the seats as well as on the seat base, which is kind of nice. Perodua says that these are semi-bucket seats. I wouldn't call it that, but okay. But more importantly, there is actually a new dash design for this car. So you have this little piece of silver that actually cuts across the dashboard and frames the infotainment system, again just to break up the monotony of grey plastic that's going on in this car. But there is even bigger news directly ahead of the driver, and that is the new instrument cluster. So while the features of the instrument cluster remain the same, you have the same readouts such as trip information, fuel consumption, and so on. The readout itself has been redesigned with white backlighting for the first time, and it's just a little bit more sporty, a little bit more engaging for the driver in design at least, and it's also clearer and more legible for drivers to see. Now, a lot of the refinements and changes with this car have occurred to places where you can't see, where you'll only ever be able to experience them out on the road. So now we are going to take this car out for a drive and see what it's like. Just very quickly, we are the first people to drive this car actually. If I look at the odometer now, there's only 8 kilometers recorded on this particular test car. So we're the first people to drive this particular test car, which is quite fun actually. I don't think we've driven a car this new before. But now let's just head off and see what this car is like to drive. Okay, so we're now behind the wheel of the brand new Perodua Bezza, and we're navigating around the showroom. While we get to our shoot location, I just want to very quickly say a huge thank you to DMM Perodua Mid Valley, who have very kindly not only arranged for us to test drive this car, but we also have a Perodua ARUZ chase car in the back, also supplied by DMM. They're being very, very kind to us. I'm not entirely sure why, but they're being very kind and very generous with us, and so we thank them very much for the generosity. So right now, we are the first people to drive the Perodua Bezza. In fact, this very car has only 8 kilometers on the clock. This car is brand new. My bum is the first bum to ever be sat in this seat, probably, aside from the guy who dropped the car off. So I'm quite excited to do this. I've never driven a car this new, at least. And so this is kind of fun. So let's get it out on the road. So as I was saying earlier, this is the 1.3 litre advanced model. So you have the 1.3 litre mill in the front, 4-cylinder, of course. This is the top spec model in the Perodua Bezza range. Now, this car comes in at 49,500 and something, 588 ringgit or something to that effect, just under 50,000 ringgit. And I know that a lot of you are going to be asking, why is it so much more expensive than the Saga? Because the Saga Premium is only 39,800 something or rather. And the truth is, well, this car offers a... That's not on my side. Well, the truth of the matter is, this car offers a crazy amount of value for the money. So you have things like advanced safety assist, the first A-segment saloon to offer advanced driver assist features in a locally made car. So this is brilliant news, and that means that you can expect to see even greater safety features when driving in town or at speeds below 80 kilometers an hour. Now, ASA 2.0 also incorporates things such as pedestrian detection, front collision warning, pre-collision warning, as well as pedal misoperation alert, which basically stops you from accidentally accelerating into a wall or something. Now, straight off the bat, I'm not sure if you can tell, but the road surface here is pretty poorly. But straight off the bat, what's immediately striking me about this car is that it's very quiet. I can hear very little of the road or even of the engine, and the only rattling that I can hear over rough surfaces is the sound of a power bank that's currently charging our secondary camera over there. Hello! So, aside from that little bit of rattle of a power bank inside the the passenger's door bin, aside from that, this car is whisper quiet. And this is, of course, a trait that's been expected from Perodua's cars, given the fact that the 4-cylinders are generally quite quiet. Now, in terms of fuel consumption, well, we can't really talk about that until we get these cars out for a proper test, so that'll be a little bit while longer. But we are confident, and Perodua is also very confident, that the upgraded Perodua Bezza will still be able to return a very respectable 22 kilometers per litre, which is excellent for a car in this category. Now, while that is very impressive, we have to talk about that in context, because since its arrival, the new PROTON Saga, or the facelifted PROTON Saga, has proven to be a very, very impressive machine. Our grey PROTON Saga regularly returns between 4.5 to 4.9 litres per 100 kilometers in mostly urban driving, at urban speeds and that sort of thing. And so with that in mind, we are curious to see how the new Perodua Bezza, which has long been considered to be the fuel consumption leader in the segment, how it'll fare against the new and updated PROTON Saga. But that will have to wait. For the time being, let's focus on this car. So with the Bezza, you get that very perky engine response, be it in the 1 litre or the 1.3, but obviously the 1.3 enjoys a little bit more power and urgency because it's bigger. But for the most part, the throttle response that you get from this car is still just as impressive as it's ever been. It's very suited for town driving. And the same can be said of the steering wheel, which, as I'm sure you can see, I'm currently maneuvering with just one hand because the steering wheel is relatively light, and as a result, it doesn't require that much force or effort to drive this car, which makes it perfect for town. There is everything that I need. As I sit here in the driver's seat, everything that I need is all within reach. The ergonomics in this car have been truly and impressively refined, even from when the car was first introduced. So everything that I need is all within arm's reach. I never have to lift my shoulder off of the seat because everything is just there, which is very nice. Now, with the Bezza, we came into this review knowing that there wasn't actually a lot of things that we can talk about from the driving perspective, because Proto themselves have admitted that in terms of the suspension, the driving dynamics and so on, this car hasn't really been changed. It's all just the same stuff, just packaged in a new and slightly more impressive body. On top of that, the Perodua Bezza is and will continue to be one of the most impressive cars in the segment, particularly with all of the active safety available for the first time. So we know that ASA is effective in terms of mitigating or reducing the severity of city speed accidents. But in the real world, if you're paying attention, hopefully ASA should never have to come into play at all. Now, aside from the inclusion of ASA, which is a marvelous thing for the segment, there are also a couple more refinement features or refined aspects of the new Perodua Bezza that we'd like to touch on. In terms of the suspension, Perodua has made no changes in terms of the suspension tuning, so this still remains a very soft, very pliant ride for the most part. In addition to that, it appears that Perodua has made some improvements in terms of overall refinement, because this car is quiet, just like I said earlier, which means that this is now a very suitable machine for families looking for a primary vehicle that they can take over long distances, that they can take traveling, and that sort of thing. Of course, aided by the 508-litre boot in the back. So, just to sum up, the new Bezza is a lot of really good things put together in a really compelling package. With prices starting at just over 36,000 ringgit and ending just under 50,000 ringgit, the Perodua Bezza presents a really good value package, because this car looks good, it drives decently enough from what we can tell in the last 5 minutes we've been driving this. It has class-leading safety features, and it continues to offer some of the best fuel consumption figures on the market. Would we recommend the Perodua Bezza? Definitely. But there is a bigger question to be answered here. Will this facelifted and updated and upgraded Bezza be good enough to fend off the new price leader in the segment, the PROTON Saga? Well, we can't answer that now, but hopefully in our full in-depth review of this car, we'll be able to answer that question in its entirety. Alright, so that concludes our preview drive of the refreshed Perodua Bezza. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to give out a big shout out to DMM Perodua Mid Valley here at Menara MBMR, who not only very generously supplied us with the Perodua Bezzas that we used to film today, but also the Perodua ARUZ chase car, which they gave out of the generosity of their hearts without us even asking. Now, DMM Perodua Mid Valley is one of the most highly reputable Perodua dealerships in the Klang Valley, and they will not only go the extra mile for us, but they'll go the extra mile for you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.